Having made his debut as the 5th playable Vault Hunter in Borderlands the pre-sequel, Timothy Lawrence's past and real appearance are largely unknown. Life before his transformation seems almost irrelevant and uneventful. The one detail we do know about him physically was that he used to have freckles.
I miss my old face. I miss my freckles.
And in terms of his home life, he was very much a mama's boy. Except his mom didn't like him.
I should be at home with Mom, not hanging out on the moon getting shot at.
The moment his real journey in life began was when he was in need for cash to pay off his student loan debts. Because of this, he took up a job Hyperion was offering where he would undergo major reconstructive surgery. His physical appearance would be altered in every way possible to make him look and sound like Handsome Jack.
Mr. Lawrence? Yeah, that's me, Timothy. Please go through the door to your right. Your interviewer will be waiting for you. Do I, need to sign some papers, or? Through the door, please. No, wait, how do I know this isn't some scam to get my kidneys? You applied for this position because you needed money. Beggars can't be choosers. But, okay. All right, I'm ready. Very good, Timothy. How are you feeling? What happened? What is the last thing you remember? There was a door, and you were there, and you asked me some questions, and then I woke up here. Seems the anesthesia we're using is still causing substantial memory loss. Nurse, collect all my notes on experimental post-traumatic stress therapy. I've got some ideas. Doctor. I hooked this one up to drip. No, not until he feels it. We need to make sure the nerves weren't damaged during the surgery. Surgery? What surgery? Shh. Relax. I'll fill you in on everything. My name will be Jack. I work as an engineer for Hyperion. Doctor, I still sound like myself. That will be fixed with the voice modulator implants. Now that you've signed these forms, for the next 20 years you'll be Jack. Jeez. When do I get paid? Soon. Report to Medical Chamber 7. Experiment commentary day 4. Visual transformation complete and all records deleted. Timothy Lawrence, at least on paper, no longer exists, and neither do his secrets. Jack will be very, very pleased.
Hey there, sexy.
What? Are you talking to me?
Of course. Who else would I be talking to? You see any other gorgeous strangers in this place?
No. Guess not.
What's your name? Or should I keep calling you sexy?
Oh, the name's Jack. But you can call me whatever you like.
How about the man who bought me a drink?
To attempt to make them as much like him as possible, part of Jack's DNA was also injected into them in hopes to give them his personality as well. But this didn't have too much of an effect immediately and would largely be unpresent for a long time. But we'll come back to that later. As part of the doppelganger program, Timothy's death was faked. When his mother found out, she laughed, though he tries convincing himself that she was crying on the inside.
Poor Mom. I mean, when I took the body double gig, they had to fake my death. I mean, she was laughing when they told her, but I'm sure she was crying, on the inside, sobbing. Well, fairly sure.
Timothy was one of many doppelgangers recruited for this purpose. His own personal designated Hyperion code is Doppelganger 21C. To keep them in control, Hyperion also placed bombs in their faces to prevent them from detailing any specifics about themselves or anything else they don't want the doppelgangers to say. For example, Timothy was legally not allowed to speak his real name, thus he must find workarounds.
Try telling it to the guy who doesn't have a bomb surgically implanted in his face, lady.
Well, I'm legally forbidden to tell you, but it rhymes with Jimothy.
Despite looking and sounding like Jack, Timothy was still very much Timothy in personality and attitude, even despite the DNA injection, so it was on him to play up the facade and act the part.
Anybody watching? Great. God, this character, right? Such an insufferable piece of shit. Hey, somebody's listening. I'm Jack, and I'm the best, and I love being Jack. 3 cheers for Jack. I'm great.
When the real Jack begins hunting the vault on Elpis, Timothy happens to be the one recruited amongst several other vault hunters to help with this goal. And this is where the events of Borderlands the pre-sequel take place. Alongside Wilhelm, Athena, Claptrap, Nisha, and Aurelia, Timothy helps in the takedown of the Lost Legion and the inadvertent creation of the persona that is Handsome Jack. It is important to note that unlike many of his fellow allies like Nisha and Wilhelm, Timothy did not ethically agree with much of what Jack was doing, as it was very immoral and downright evil. He didn't do anything against it, but he didn't feel good when he was complying to begin with. Not much is to be said about his own individual journey throughout the story, but probably the biggest takeaway for him are the people he met: Roland, Lilith, and most importantly, Moxie. Considering Jack and Moxie had dated in the past, Timothy was forced to act like Jack and pretend to be him. While he thinks he does a good enough job at pretending to be him and tricking her, Moxie is much too observant and clever and sees right through his facade. She never brings it up until later, but she knew all along that he was not Jack. In fact, Timothy actually developed a bit of a crush on her, as does everyone, and invited her on a date, which she agreed to and got food. Timothy feels conflicted, not knowing why she would go on a date with someone like Jack, not aware of her true intentions until later. Anyway, despite disagreeing with Jack morally, he still couldn't just leave as he was under contract with a bomb still in his face, so he was forced to continue to be his body double. Anyway, so at the end of the pre-sequel, Lilith had punched the vault symbol into Jack's face, branding him and creating the alter ego of Handsome Jack. Because Jack himself now had a physical alteration made to him, he forced all of the doppelgangers to suffer the same fate as well. Each one of them were branded with the vault symbol on their faces as well, so to keep up the charade of his body doubles. Because of this, Timothy holds a little bit of resentment towards Lilith.
And I never really resented Lilith, but after Jack got his scar, he branded all of us body doubles to match, so I'm a little miffed about that.
Jack went on to force him to do other various menial jobs, which presumably he got a kick out of just for the hell of it. Timothy was forced to star in various pornographic adult film movies, which he is less than proud of.
Hey, you didn't see any of those movies Jack made me do, right? You know what? Forget I mentioned it.
Posters for these can be seen all over Borderlands 3. Fortunately though, he got closer to using his real name, going under the stage name Timothy Doppelman. At some point, however, Jack, under motivations we don't fully know, gathered all of his doppelgangers to one central location, the Handsome Jackpot. It's a casino that he had opened up to accrue more wealth. In Timothy's case, he was invited to live the life of luxury as a sort of reward for helping on Elpis. But that likely was just a ploy to get him to the casino. Each of the doppelgangers were given what were known as winning hands. They gave them access to all areas of the casino. Likely Jack's motivation was that they could be used as free labor since he was the face of the casino. Having a bunch of hymns running around fit the vibe of the place, so he just had them work as their employees. They, however, did not get their free will back. The bombs that were implanted in each one of them seemed to be only able to serve a single purpose. While it was stopping Timothy from speaking his real name initially, all of the bombs were changed to prevent them all from leaving the casino. Thus, they were trapped there until Jack chooses to free them. This all of course goes bad for the doppelgangers, as Jack would obviously meet his end in the events of Borderlands 2. With Jack no longer alive, any and all businesses he was running went into ruin, including the Handsome Jackpot. The place went into lockdown, and chaos slowly but surely erupted from all of its employees and customers alike. In the beginning, some of the doppelgangers initially attempted to help out those who needed it with their winning hands, however, they were killed by the more ruthless.
The doppelgangers, we weren't all bad guys. When the lockdown happened, some of them actually tried to use their winning hands to help out the survivors, get them something to eat. They all got torn to pieces, so I stayed alive.
Timothy himself even had to kill a few of them, which he tries to justify saying it was self-defense.
Had, just me now, the rest are dead. I didn't kill them, most of them. I killed a couple. Self-defense, we're gonna go with self-defense.
Nevertheless, over time, every single doppelganger aside from Timothy would be killed, leaving him the last remaining body double. He spent his time largely in hiding, finding few allies he could trust, and trying not to be killed, specifically by Pretty Boy, a figure from the casino who had risen to power in its decline. This would all take place over the course of 7 years. And this is where the events of Borderlands 3 come in. Moxie sends the Vault Hunters to the Handsome Jackpot, as the concept and design for the place were initially hers and stolen by Jack. When the Vault Hunters get there, they meet Timothy, who explains everything that's been happening, as well as being reunited with Moxie. She obviously doesn't trust Amir for having been associated with Jack for so long. The DLC mainly consists of meeting up with the allies Timothy had made and formulating a plan to overthrow Pretty Boy and save everyone in the casino. During this journey, Timothy winds up getting kidnapped and held hostage, where the Vault Hunters are obviously forced to rescue him. Pretty Boy is eventually killed, but after this, the casino goes into self-destruct mode, sending it hurtling towards a black hole. The only way to stop it is with Timothy's winning hand, which is hard because he's still trapped in a cage. For everyone's sake, he uses the cage to cut off his hand so the characters can use it and save everyone. At the very end of the DLC, he and Moxie are reunited in person, this time where he learns the real reason she went on a date with him way back when.
Moxie, you know, I've been wondering, why did you say yes to dinner that night?
I was hungry.
Yeah, but Jack, he was the worst.
Oh, honey. If I thought you were Jack, I'd have shot you the moment you stepped up to my bar.
So, I didn't even fool you a little.
Not even a little.
And he finally gets some closure, knowing she went with him, not Jack. Another fun fact about Timothy is that he suffers from acrophobia, otherwise known as a fear of heights. But as for now, that does it for the history of Timothy Lawrence, just a normal person who got roped into a much bigger world which he hates being a part of. If there's any other characters you'd like to see me do the history of, then be sure to let me know in the comments below, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video.